You're doing everything right, and you're still losing. How is that even possible in a country that practically worships the grind? Meet Canon, no streaming services, no impulse buys, no avocado toast, none of that stuff. He's cut the budget down to the bone, and yet every single month, the numbers still don't add up. Here's the cruel joke the financial gurus never put in their YouTube thumbnails. When your interest rate is climbing faster than your income, frugality becomes a treadmill, not a ladder. You can sprint all you want, the floor is still moving backward. Think of it like trying to bail out a boat with a coffee cup while someone keeps drilling new holes in the hull. The cup isn't the problem. The holes are the problem. The macro forces at play here, rising APRs, compounding debt, inflation eating into purchasing power, are not things that a latte ban was ever going to fix. We're talking about systemic tides, and Canon is swimming with everything he has just to stay in the same spot. Back in 2021, the vibe was different. Rates were near zero, stimulus checks were landing, and people genuinely felt like the system was working with them for once. That optimism didn't slowly fade. It got repriced almost overnight when the Fed hiked rates 11 times between 2022 and 2023, pushing average credit card APRs past 22%, the highest in 40 years. Economists like Claudia Sahm have been vocal about the fact that wage growth, while real, has not kept pace with the compounding cost of carrying debt for working and middle-class households. And yet the dominant cultural narrative still blames the individual, still asks what you gave up, not what the system took. There's a historical rhythm to this, and it's worth naming it plainly. Every major tightening cycle produces a wave of people who did the right things and still got squeezed. It happened in the early 1980s when Volcker rates crushed households, and it happened again after 2008. Discipline wasn't the variable that saved people. Positioning was. Now, here's the misconception we need to torpedo right now. The idea that if you just try harder, sacrifice more, you can budget your way out of a structural problem. That's not personal finance advice. That's a fairy tale that keeps people exhausted and self-blaming instead of strategically redirecting. What history actually teaches us is that the households who survived tightening cycles weren't the most austere. They were the ones who repositioned assets, reduced high-interest exposure aggressively, and found income levers to pull, even small ones. Strategy beats suffering every single time. So if you're Canon, or if you are Canon, the move isn't to cut deeper. It's to attack the interest first, like it's the one enemy in the room, because it is. A $40 minimum payment on a 22% APR card is barely touching principal, and that math doesn't care how disciplined you are. We also can't ignore that this is where broader intervention matters. Income floors, rate caps on consumer debt, housing policy, because no amount of individual optimization fixes a neighborhood where rent just jumped 30%. Both things have to move. Your strategy and the system applying the pressure. The philosophical truth underneath all of this is quietly humbling. Consistency and positioning matter far more than willpower and sacrifice. And the sooner we stop moralizing personal finance, the sooner we can actually solve it. Discipline is a tool, not a virtue test. Canon's story isn't a failure story, it's a diagnostic. And the diagnosis is that the intervention point isn't the spending, it's the rate, the income gap, and the structural weight he's carrying without realizing it. Knowing that changes everything about where you apply energy next. And if you're ready to start applying that energy in the right direction, whether that's real estate investing, finding reliable home contracting work, or connecting with lenders who actually understand your situation, check out our links in the description below.